Hello and welcome to another video here at Movie Mash, and today we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite 80s movies. Not necessarily the best, not even they're probably terrible, but it's our top 5. Now, usual suspect here on my side here, this way, Davey from the 80s over at cinemachopshop. And I'm going to put a link in below if you want to see his videos, his reviews. He does his own channel, similar things, not always the same topic, but we get along, and we're best friends today, aren't we? Me and you are like great, the bestest friends. Now,
we're good old chops.
We're buddies. Anyway, so we have special guests today. Yeah, all the way from Hollywood with their busy schedule. Yeah. You know, messing around with the celebrities and all. We have Justin and Darrell, D&J Movie Reviews, which I'll also put a link in. They do their own reviews. They do a lot of fight reactions, so you want to check that out. They do some pretty good stuff. They're doing really well. They're getting bigger by the day. The reason why we're calling them Hollywood. But tell us about yourself quickly, lads.
All right, go ahead, Jay.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay from D&J Movie Reviews. Like Del Boy Movie Mash said, man, y'all check our channel out, man. You know, me and my boy Darrell, we've been doing a lot of fight reaction videos, and we've been doing a lot of other stuff, and, you know, try to entertain people as much as we can and everything. But, yeah, like I said, just check the channel out and, you know, support us.
Yo, it's your boy D. I'm the other half of Jay. So, you know, we over here chilling. You know, trying to do everything that, you know, Davey and, you know, Derek has actually been helping us with. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all can call us Hollywood all you want to, but y'all Hollywood too. So don't even say
y'all Hollywood too.
Let's keep it real.
No, hold on.
You know what? He's the celebrity. He's the kind of celebrity that I love.
Right?
Like
Justin's responsible.
You know, Darrell's like Brad Pitt. You know, that kind of like, I'm big, but I'm still down with you lot. You know, I'm still normal.
Look.
I think Justin's more like J-Lo, you know?
Don't let him fool y'all.
Justin's more like J-Lo.
Davey got an autograph from Tim Curry, y'all.
Man, listen.
Okay.
We all Hollywood. We all getting
now. Look, hey, Justin trying to say that, but he's responsible for Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian breaking up. Because he in that love triangle right now. So don't even start, man.
Listen, he got his Revenant license and helped Ben and J-Lo get married. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's the go-to guy.
You're the best man.
I didn't realize
we're blessed.
I appreciate you.
We always joke around. We're always joking around and messing around with each other. You know, it's all jokes, all messing around. Now, we all have a top 5, and I'm going to start with number 5 for Davey.
Okay.
Tell us what it is and why.
So before I go into that, I wanted to have an honorable mention. I tried to make my list as diverse as possible. I didn't want to just go with like the first top 5 80s movies that came to my head because they'll probably all be horror movies. But I wanted to give an honorable mention to a Japanese animated film by the name of Akira or Akira. It's like this techno noir film. It's really interesting. It's about the government and how the Japanese government fell apart, and then the world that kind of develops afterwards, and how the human beings in that era kind of had like superpowers, and they're kind of being hunted by the government. It's actually a really good movie, but I just wanted to throw that out there. That's a freaking honorable mention. And for those of you that said, wait, Akira came out in the 1990s. Nah, it was released in Japan in the 1980s, so get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. But anyway,
I might check it out. You know why? Because of all the catalog of great 80s movies, and you picked that as an honorable mention, it must be worth checking out. And I'm going to do that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm picking a very diverse list. I picked the anime movie as an honorable mention because, you know, it's something different. But my number 5 is going to be Gremlins. Now, everybody in their mama loves the Gremlins. Like,
it was nearly in my list.
Oh, it was in your list too?
Nearly.
It was in my list too. It was in my list.
Yeah, Gremlins is like Gremlins is super classic. I mean, you can't like get over it at all. It's about this young man who gets a freaking Furby looking thing, and they give him specific instructions. Right? They give him freaking specific instructions not to do something. He does the shit anyway, and it ends up spawning a couple of demons from Satan, and they start raising hell on the town. And this is like a Christmas movie, right? It happens around Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it happens around the Christmas time. So it's a real fun movie.
And
they're trying to capture. You said what?
And the theme tune it's like
Oh yeah,
one
the
of the best.
soundtrack. Any 80s soundtrack is
Yeah,
always
I know.
excellent.
Gremlins has definitely won a cut above the rest. It's a great movie,
Yeah,
great film.
but I mean, Gremlins is super cult classic. Also, it's a freaking pop culture
Yeah.
icon because now like we have Gremlin NECA figures. You have like the Gremlin full scale models and things. So I mean, and it even spawned a really cool sequel, the Gremlins 2, which I personally love. I thought it was really
was
cool that the
good.
Gremlins got
Yeah.
powers in that movie.
I liked
thought
it. It was
funny.
different. It just didn't love it as much as the first, but it was different when it was. They changed it up a lot.
Yeah, it's one of those. I'm telling that's one of the movies where they did a sequel and it kind of like it's its own little thing, but kind of like I still love it. Like it's probably
Yeah.
not as good as the original, but
No.
it gets a whole lot of love from me. So
Yeah,
shout
I
out to the
agree.
Gremlins franchise. They coming in at number 5.
Now
Yeah,
that
was
was
a
a really good pick. I'm not kidding you. That was a great pick.
Yeah.
But why is it your number 5? Is there a particular? Are you nostalgic towards it? Is there something you just love the film? Is there a reason?
Dude, I love the fucking I love the Gremlins, man. They're freaking hilarious. Like they just the shit they do, like it's always entertaining. Like that's a movie
It is.
that no matter how many times I've seen it, if it comes on again, I could probably sit through it again
Yeah, I agree.
and not get bored. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
not too many movies that you can do that with, right?
Okay,
And
yeah.
another weird one that I could do that with is Rush Hour, but that's not an 80s movie.
Yeah.
But there's just certain movies that I could just sit through no matter how many times I've seen it and still freaking enjoy it like the first day that I seen it. And Gremlins is one of them damn movies.
Well, thank you very much, David. That was nearly in my list, but that was such a good movie. But who we move on to next? Not the Triple D. We'll go on to Jay. Just about to get married, Jay. Yeah. Tell us your honorable mention and give us your number 5 and why.
Well, I'll go ahead and just say my fifth. It's kind of hard, but I think my fifth one coming in at number 5.
No, go do your honorable mention first.
Yeah. You haven't thought this
What's
hard.
one that you wanted in your like that you almost put in your list, but it didn't make the cut?
Boy,
I
I
know.
wanted to put in Lucas. I wanted to put in the movie Lucas.
Corey
a lot of
Haim, right?
A lot of people sleep on that movie Lucas, but honestly, Lucas was a good movie for me. You know, the guy.
It is the one with Corey Haim, right?
Yeah.
No, I've not
I'm
seen
gonna
that.
buck. I've never even seen that movie.
I've not seen it, but I know of it.
Yeah, bro, it's a good movie. It's like, he's like he catches like, locusts and all stuff, and then plus he had a crush on this girl. And Charlie Sheen was in the movie too.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
there was a bit of controversy about that recently.
And basically Lucas, he wanted to, be with this girl that was like 16, he was 14 at the time. And she didn't want to be with him like that. Then he goes play football. He never played football before. Then he ends up gets like hurt and injured. And then after that,
And that's your honorable mention.
Back at the end, because they like he's being tough and all stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and say this. My number 5.
Here we go.
I'm not gonna lie, I love this. My number 5, coming number 5 is the movie. It's a horror movie. It's Silver Bullet. I love Silver Bullet.
That is a good movie.
Silver Bullet is a good movie because one, you have the I guess is it called The Preacher or something like that, or the Reverend?
The Reverend or the Priest. The Priest.
Yeah, the Priest. My fault. Priest. He's a werewolf and terrorizing town.
Yeah.
And then you got the brother
Gary
sister.
Busey.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, Justin. People, you know what I mean? Spoilers.
I'm sorry.
Movie.
Spoilers.
Then you slacking. I'm sorry.
Spoilers, everyone. It doesn't matter. You know what? It's a 40-year-old movie. If you don't know, bad luck.
Yeah, bad luck.
I'm
sorry. You're out of luck.
Hey, but that's a Stephen King book, right?
It is, yeah.
That's what
I was just going to say quickly about Silver Bullet is that I didn't see it when it was near. I actually only see it about 10 years ago. And I actually really enjoyed it. Yeah, I never even really, I didn't know much about it. I just saw the picture and I never really got into it. But yeah, I watched it. It's a good movie. Is there any particular reason why it's your number 5?
Well,
it's a hard question.
I know it's kind of hard, but it's just that I just love there were some serious moments in the there was a lot of serious moments in the film that I can remember. Plus, how how he was riding that wheelchair scooter, I guess you can say.
Yeah. And his uncle,
Yeah, and
picked
then
it up.
the priest, he got him in that like what's that thing? He got him in he had him trapped. He said my mind's
I'll
going
be
blank.
doing that too. Don't trip. I'll be like, what is the name of that? That's a black person thing. I
Yeah, I know.
swear. What is it?
Yeah.
But anyway, I think I just like how that movie just played out, and I just like how it was on the serious aspect. So it's a
Okay.
good movie.
That's one of the movies. I ain't gonna lie. I haven't seen Silver Bullet either.
It's
a
actually
movie that
really, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of
Davey,
No,
you never seen
no,
Civil
look.
Bullet, bro? Not
All
have
right, so
very
look.
with the hot top horror,
No, I know.
fanatics, dude.
I know. But there's certain movies that I haven't watched yet. Like that's one.
yeah, like
It's on my to watch
Goonies.
list. You said which one?
Goonies, Superman, and
Yeah, bro. Like
Goodfellas
I
and-
haven't. Watched it.
Thanks for that. That's a really good choice. You know what? To be honest with you, that would be in my top 20 anyway, at least. Yeah, I think it's a really good 80s movie. But moving along to Mr. Durrell, and what is your honorable mention? And what is your number 5?
I'm gonna go. My honorable mention is gonna be Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. I'm gonna go with that one.
That is a lot of fun. The second one's coming out soon, isn't it?
That is that's a good pick.
They said they was gonna make one, but
It's in production or something. Yeah, at the moment with Danny DeVito and Arnold. But that is a good. That's your honorable mention.
Yes, Twins.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
That's a good honorable mention.
Yeah. Right. What about your number 5?
My number 5 will have to be Fright Night.
Fright Night.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
And I mean, it's just being a kid. It's like, how would you know that a vampire is living right beside you? Like right beside you. You don't know that shit.
You throw garlic at him and see if he runs.
I know, right? But I mean, you don't know that. I mean,
I've not seen Fright Night.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep, honestly. I sleep with a light on sometimes when I get done watching a scary movie. I have to watch a cartoon after I get done watching it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just a vampire right next door to you. Then your best friend is trying to, see, then he goes and steal your girl, and your girl turns to a vampire. I'm like, damn. So, that's my number 5. It was good.
But they have.
All right. I always know that a lot of people say one of the best vampire 80s movies was Lost Boys, but there's people who go with, what is it? They always there seems to be a competition between Lost Boys and Fright Night. You're either on one side or the other. I haven't seen Fright Night, but I'm hearing especially. I know. I really been meaning
2 of them.
Yeah.
I've seen the remake. I never saw the remake.
I saw the remake. Yeah, it was all right remake, but I'm hearing big things about Fright Night.
Yeah, watch the original. The original one.
That's
nice.
That's why the original was on my list.
Yeah, no, it's good. That's I would say it's a good choice. I know people love that film.
Appreciate it.
What I like about the original is that you know how I know when Charlie was looking through the window, he was looking through the window and he could see that Jerry was about to, bite that girl. He see fangs, and then you can hear the music in the background. That's what I like.
That's what I liked about it.
Music in the background.
Something that's got to happen. The music is really loud, and it makes you like, oh shit, what's going to happen? Then you see them biting and everything. So y'all check out the original.
Okay. I'm going to. I might even do it tonight, to be honest. But all right. So coming on to my honorable mention.
All right.
All right, I'm going to tell you something. Okay. We were supposed to do this a few weeks ago, this 80s video. Right. And I was thinking of a list back then, and I come up with a list. The day after we didn't do it, I come up with a different list. It changed. And then it changed. Literally 5 minutes before here, it changed.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's very hard to pick.
Yeah, I think the top 10 might have been easier. I don't know. But 5, you've got to pick 5. And it's like, wow. And as you know, I'd probably change after we've made this video. I've changed, oh shit, it should have been that. But as I say, my number 5, my honorable mention is Big Trouble in no, it's not my number 5. My honorable mention is Big Trouble in Little China. Now,
That's a good movie.
Okay.
Good movie.
That's a
Right.
good movie.
this
That's
film
definitely good.
was my introduction to Russell, what's his name? Kurt Russell and John
Russell.
Carpenter, right?
Yeah.
This film, apart from the soundtrack, which is done by John Carpenter, this film has action, it has ghosts, it has wizards, it has kung fu, it has everything like in this film, and as a whole, this is just the package. Now, I hadn't seen the Thing and all that, but apart from that, apart from being that little bit scary when I was young, it also was funny. It had all the elements, and it did very badly in the cinema, you know. And
But
apparently,
it
The
has
Rock
this
is interested.
huge cult following now.
Yeah, and understandably, it's such a good movie, and it's something I found out recently about it. I don't know if you guys have seen the other John Carpenter film, Escape from New York and LA. You've seen that, right?
I haven't seen it, but I know about it. Kurt
Is
Russell's
it
in
about
as well,
the?
too, right?
Is it? No, I don't think I have seen it. I don't
Well,
know.
Isn't
all
the
I
main
found out
character's name
recently was-
Snake or something, and he has like
yeah,
an
Snake
iPad?
Plissken. Yeah, like the Metal Gear Solid as well.
Well,
But
yeah.
I found out recently. I thought was a fun fact was, and it made sense as well. If you watch Escape from LA, he's got the glasses and he talks like this. You know, he's doing. He was told to do Clint Eastwood, and apparently he was told to do John Wayne, play John Wayne in Big Trouble in Little China. The hell I will. Yeah, Jack Burton, and I was like, yeah, it does. And just a little. If you need a bit of trivia for people who didn't know, but yeah, that was my number honorable mention that literally nearly made it into this list. But
Okay. That's a good one.
And I feel bad for not putting it in the list. But my number 5 is asshole. Get out is Terminator. Terminator.
That
One.
almost made my list.
Huh?
Close.
That almost made my list.
Right. So when I was a kid, I was brought up by my grandparents, and my uncle lived there. My uncle was a bit of a gangster. I didn't realize at the time, but he was a bit of a shady character. And he had his room back in the 80s. He had all this stuff in there. I don't even know what it was. Yeah, I probably shouldn't want to know. But he had all these videos, like more than the video shop. And he was bringing stuff to the video store. I see him doing it a couple of times. So my first movie experience, and the reason why I think I love movies so much is because of this. I had free range as a kid to watch what you want, and whatever came out as soon as I got to see it. And obviously they were all bootleg. I didn't know at the time, and he was giving bootleg videos to the video store as well, who was just renting them. But anyway, as I say, things were different then, and age and limits weren't a thing back. My grandparents didn't know about 18 or R-rated. They just thought it was a film, just watch it, you know. So I had free range with everything, and when I saw Terminator,
watch a naked man pop up in LA.
Sorry.
Well, gonna let you watch a naked man. Pop up
I was going to say this. I'm pretty sure this was the first time as a young man I ever saw titties. Yeah, with there's a set scene. I don't know what. I was like, Nan, what's going on? She's like, turn that off. Do you know that kind of shit? Like, you know. But then, as long as I'm quiet, she lets me watch it. You know. But as I said, look, this is Arnold's first. I mean, we know he did the Hercules and Pumping Iron. He was somewhat known, but this is Arnold's signature movie. Yeah, this is where we all got to see what he was. This film is, I will say, if you watch it again, it is part horror. It's a sci-fi.
Is it
horror.
true that they wanted O.J. Simpson to play the Terminator?
Yes, originally O.J. Simpson was first choice for it, but the problem was.
Okay, so look, so it's funny.
He was too nice.
Yeah, OJ and the Bronco. OJ and the Bronco. So check it out. It was funny because they were talking. I saw this interview where Arnold is talking to the director, and he's telling them like, he's like, whoever you pick, OJ or whoever it is, like they have to do this, they have to do that. Remember, they're a robot. Like everything should be just like you need to just be able to do it, and you can't think about it because you're a robot. You already know how to do it. It's programmed in your mind. Yeah. And the director's just looking at him, and he's just like,
James Cameron, by the way.
Yeah, James Cameron. He's like, I'm gonna just pick you to do the shit. But yeah, apparently OJ was in talks to do it. I'm kind of glad because the last thing I wanted to do is him to be like, the juice is loose or some shit, you know?
The juice.
That's the last thing I wanted. That's the last thing I wanted to hear in the middle of that damn movie.
He was Mr. Nice Guy back then, OJ, as far as I know. He was like a celebrity nice guy. And it was going to be hard for people. They were saying to see him as a, Also, Kyle Reese, the guy who played Kyle Reese, was considered to play Terminator, and Arnold was to play Kyle Reese, the savior. John Connor's dad.
Yeah,
that would have been weird.
But as to say, like, look, I don't want to go on too much about all these, but I'm just saying is, look, this is a sci-fi horror classic. It's horror. It was terrifying at some point when I was a kid, and I can understand why it would be a horror. Arnold was ice cold. Now, as we all know, he's not the greatest actor, but he's full of character in general, and this is what he was made for. He was very stern, very everything, and this is perfect, and this is why it's my number 5. And it also could be my number 1, but all right, but there you go.
Now that's a good one. That's a good one.
Now we're going to go to your number 4, Mister from the 80s.
It's funny. I intentionally avoided Terminator because I felt like it was going to be on somebody's list. There's certain movies that I avoided, assuming that they were going to be on lists.
Yeah.
So that was one of them.
Never know.
It wasn't on mine.
Nah. Well, I felt like it would be on Derek's list. No, for sure. I knew it was going to be on Derek's list because Derek loves freaking Terminator, and I avoided RoboCop too because I felt like it might be on somebody's list too. Anyway. But because that was going to be on my list. I love freaking RoboCop. But it's funny that you mentioned Kurt Russell and John Carpenter because this movie's coming in on number 4.
I know it is.
Like I said, these are in no particular order, but I got to go with The Thing. The Thing is a freaking cult horror classic, bro.
Good
The freaking
one.
practical effects in this movie are freaking phenomenal. The movie opens up with an open air shot, like above air shot of them chasing a dog, and they're shooting at the dog, and you're like, why the hell are they shooting at the dog? And then it just morphs into this whodunit movie. It's like a mystery. Who's really on this center or this command center, and who's really the sick one, right? And just the practicals and everything, like even the scene where he grabs the little the thing and he tries to hit him in the chest and it opens up and it eats his hands. Like, come on, bro.
And all the practical effects on it.
The practical effects in that movie are top notch. They are still like not to be fucked with, even in today's standards. Like every time I watch a brand new movie, like I recently watched like The Orphan 2 or whatever, and you see all the CGI, and you're like, "Fuck, man!" Like I really wish we could just go back to a time where practical effects are still being used.
Full of it.
But why do they use too much CGI in today's?
It's cheaper.
Cheaper.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than setting a whole house on fire.
I would say
I'd rather you set a house on fire. I'd rather you just, like, come on, like, I'd rather you really flip a car over.
It's faster.
Like, exactly. It's faster. Like, you don't have to keep shooting it over and over if the scene doesn't go right. Like, think about how many cars you got to buy in case the scene doesn't go right, in order to shoot it over and over again. And you have to buy a specific model, too, if that's the car that the person is driving. So you got to buy, like 15 Honda Accords or something in order to get in the same color and make sure they look exactly the same with the same interior and everything else in order to match the scene perfectly. But anyway, going back to The Thing is freaking iconic for its age. It's a cool whodunit. I mean, just watching it, I even to this day, I'm still like on the edge of my seats, and I kind of feel like I'm back in that mind state of trying to figure out who's the sick one. You said you watched it recently?
Yeah.
But it's just those effects. Like even when dude's head comes off and then turns into the spider and then books it, that shit used to get to me. Like I was like, ooh, like I don't know, man. Like that movie is just one of a kind. Like you're never gonna get something else like that ever again. Ever.
Well, I just want to say about that is that I was late to the party when it came to The Thing. I didn't see that until the mid 90s, which was shocking to me because like it was around. And funny thing is, I remember being a very young kid and seeing, because I didn't know it was The Thing, but do you remember the scene where they're standing around the empty kind of, it was the empty ice where it was inside, they had like looked like a coffin shaped piece of ice that they had of the Thing.
Yeah.
I remember when before I even knew what The Thing was, I remember seeing that on a clip on TV and being and it was only that. It didn't even show the monster, and I was terrified of that clip alone. The Thing is nothing but it's got nothing but atmosphere. It's terrifying, and it's a sci-fi classic. That's all there is to it.
And I would also like to point out that it is a remake. So that's one of the remakes that is actually far superior than the original. And
Yeah.
and
It
that's
is.
because that's something that we talked about on the channel about remakes.
I want to give a nod to the sequel, the prequel, which isn't as good, but I didn't think it was too bad. But all right, that's another story. Now, Mr. Justin, I want to say you've got number 4 coming in here.
Hollywood.
Yeah, number 4. I'm going to stop asking you why, because you know what? I know why. Everyone knows why. It just makes sense. You know, and we got Justin here.
So coming in at number 4, I know this is really hard. You know, like I had to, really like try to, brainstorm a little bit. But coming in number 4, I'm gonna go with 1987, The Predator, because
Oh,
Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's a
good
good movie
one.
because they
oh
was on,
shit.
they was in that jungle, and they was they didn't know what was going on, and the next thing you know, this being that's basically camouflaged is basically killing them and wrecking their whole team and all stuff. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger
Absolutely.
fight this predator towards the end. But yeah, Predator's a good movie. The guy, like honestly, I didn't know this, but they said there was a guy. I forgot. They said that John Claude Van
Wasn't
Damme,
John Claude Van Damme was supposed to be
he
the
was supposed to
original
play the
Predator,
predator.
right?
He
He was supposed
did
to play the
play it
predator.
for a moment. They got rid of him though, didn't they?
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that original Predator design was ugly. It looked like a big
Yeah,
ass
it's
centipede.
terrible, yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the original design?
It's terrible.
The
Yeah.
original
It's bad.
design looked like a centipede. But you know what?
Pointy
Also,
thing in his
have you guys
face.
seen District 9?
Yeah,
Have any of you guys seen District 9?
I
I
haven't.
had that on the list.
that's good. That.
Derek, you seen District 9?
Yeah.
Okay, didn't the District 9 roach bug looking thing kind of look like
Yeah,
that?
but not as
Sort
good.
of?
It
Well,
had
yeah,
this
of
kind
course.
of like but Predator. Listen, that nearly made it into my list. Also, I want to say about Predator is that I watch it regular, and
I do too.
it sometimes I often wonder, is it even Arnold's better film until I watch Terminator again, because this is best performance I've ever seen Arnold give. I mean, I know again, like he's not the greatest actor, but he's full of character and charisma,
Yeah.
a bit like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a film where, oh, also, I have to say, this film also every dialogue is a one-liner. Everything.
Don't ever compare Arnold to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is nowhere near Arnold's
I'm just
level.
saying is with Dwayne Rock Johnson, he seems like a likable, charismatic guy. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe in Hollywood, but them films is trash.
Oh yeah, them films are crap. But I'm just saying it's
Hey,
like that. But
he
with
don't care.
Arnold,
Hey, he don't care. Hey, when they write that check, The Rock's like, all right.
Oh yeah, that's right. But I'm saying
Yeah,
is
of course. If you
Predator
collected a check, you ain't gonna
has
complain.
great one-liners. It starts off, son of a bitch, Dylan. Yeah, you're pushing too many pencils. Do you know it's get to the chopper, we're on ugly motherfucker. It's just not in,
But that's the
yeah,
perfect person to fight a predator, though. Like honestly, that's like the perfect
Arnold.
casting, to be honest with you.
yeah, it's a great film. I like the new one, and I liked the one with Danny Glover too. But yeah,
Predator
great
too.
choice.
Yo,
Great choice.
hey, I don't care what anybody said. Danny Glover, he was trying to catch that fade for the Predator, bro. He was on one trying. I mean, solo. He was going after the Predator,
No,
bro.
I still think he was good. I think he did a good job. I think Danny Glover on the film was good. You know, it was originally supposed to be Arnold's brother.
Danny Glover wasn't going out like that.
It was supposed to be Arnold's brother in part 2. Yeah.
Oh, bro.
And Arnold was supposed to play his brother.
But then it was just ended up being Arnold's brother. You know what I'm saying?
But all right, Mr. Darrell, what is your number 4?
I would say my number 4 will actually be The Wraith with Charlie Sheen.
Oh, I like that movie.
Right. Yeah, the car. Yeah.
The Wraith.
Yeah.
That's my number 4.
I just watched that. Hold up. As a matter of fact, hold up.
Dave was like, dang it, you got me.
Yeah, The Wraith is like,
said,
honestly, I want, if something happened to me, I want to be like what Charlie Sheen did. I mean, he took homeboy's girl. Exactly. He took your homeboy's girl, and, they gain, if I haven't seen it, he comes back and tries to, get at everybody who actually killed him. So, I mean, and his brother.
That soundtrack is banging.
Yeah, heck yeah, it's banging.
Car is so sweet.
And, and he comes back, and who all killed him, he comes back and gets them one by one by one. But he comes into a car. Well, he doesn't come into a car, but he comes in like into a person who's coming back and then killing him, and like his car is killing him, and and he takes back the girl.
He got that weird little shotgun too.
It's a very
he got that weird shotgun to make that that noise, and actually if you hear it, the shotgun made the same noise as the car. And the bike and his motorcycle, his bike made the same sound as the car also, and the shotgun.
It's been a while.
You're onto something. You're onto something. But yeah, he do be running through people in that car. That should be funny. Like he just zoom, he takes off, and they like, where is he at? And then he's just in the middle of the road, like parked to the side.
In the middle of the road, and they just actually hit him, and they take a piece of everybody who killed him. He takes a piece of them, and like at the end, he comes back and has Charlie Sheen. And he like, leaves his car to his brother, and it's amazing. I love that movie. That's one of my top 4.
It's a good movie. It's very slick. I also read recently that of all the movies that Charlie Sheen's ever made, whether they're good or bad, that is actually the most watched of his movies.
I love that movie. I was gonna put that at my number 1, but I already have a number 1. But like you said, I was going back and forth.
Yeah,
it's
a brain fuck. 10 would have been easier, but 10 is still
too hard. On my couch, going by all the movies.
I got a confession to make. This is my confession. I barely watched that movie for the first time last year.
Yeah, I remember you talking to me about it.
The Wraith, the Rat. That's the first time watching that movie. That movie was fucking dope. Because they just gave it like a brand new, I think a 2K scan or something, and they released it on Blu-ray. And I was like, this movie looks interesting. Like, I like the little car, the dude on the little motorcycle outfit. I'm like, I had no clue what this movie was about. I literally just bought it off of the strength of like the cover looked tight. Like I never see this movie ever.
The cover
looked 80s. It looked hella 80s, right? And I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna buy it off the strength of the cover. And also, like, I'm into like car movies and shit. So when I used to look up movies about, I think I was looking up a movie about a killer car. I was trying to find out the name of it. That movie popped up, and I was like, oh, so this movie got a killer car in it. All right, whatever. So I just, off the strength of that, I watched it, and I love that damn movie. And I'm like, oh, yo, that's Charlie Sheen. Oh, snap. And I was like,
that's Charlie Sheen. That's young Charlie Sheen.
Young.
Exactly. I had no clue who was in the movie, what the movie was about. I went in completely like naked and cold, and I love that movie. It was tight.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I love it.
It's really good. But unfortunately for me, well, not for me, but unfortunately, my list is just pretty much common with everyone else's. I mean, there is a few ones that I could have made it, like Troll. I don't know if you've ever heard of a horror film called Troll, or Ninja. Troll? Yeah, it's a horror movie, or Ninja 3: The Domination. It's a canon movie. There's just loads of them. But when it comes to my top 5, I had to go with and they're pretty commercial. So I'm going to tell you, and it's Aliens. 1980s.
God, I was gonna put that shit.
What's his name? James Cameron again. Thing is, it feels like I really should have had more of a diverse kind of a like thing, but this is the bottom line: is I had to choose which are my favorites. And Aliens, I hadn't seen. Again, watching them as a kid in my uncle's bedroom, all that shit. Yeah, I watched this film, and I was, from the moment at the start when she gets found, that thing comes out of her stomach. Yeah, it's a dream sequence. But when they first meet that first woman who's all laid up on the wall, and she goes, "Kill me," I was terrified, absolutely terrified. I mean, I was young, but it was this film today still holds up with the practical, the atmosphere, the acting, the characters, everything. Now, I know someone in this floor here who hasn't seen it. Who could that be? Could it be you? Oh, it's you. It's him. He ain't seen Aliens. Would you believe that?
That's a fact. I ain't seen that shit.
He's not seen Aliens. And for me,
there's a shitload of movies that I haven't seen, but there's a shitload of movies I have seen. So leave me alone.
This trumps. I mean, now there's always this argument which is better, the original Alien or this. For me, this was better. This is not because it was my introduction to it, but I always liked it. Was frightening. It was more well paced. It's frightening. The characters are absolutely amazing. And Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, owns this movie. This is her, like Terminator and Arnold. This is her, and well deserved. there's not much more I can say about this film because anyone who is anyone knows who this is, and if you ain't seen it, you should be have seen it or you should be watching it now. Yeah, but that's just I'm not going to go and drag on. To everyone knows what it is, and it's just a classic to me, and that is my number 4.
Okay, that's a good one. That was a good one.
All right, coming
from
in
the 80s.
Coming in at number 3. All right, so look, I'm gonna do some different shit because you know me, I like to be different.
Yeah, it's because he hasn't seen anything else anyway from the 80s, even though he's Davey from the 80s.
Shut your dumb ass
Davey
up.
ain't seen shit from the Davey ain't barely from the 80s, but
you say this. But man, how many movies have I told you to watch? Anyway, shut up.
I watched that one the other night.
Yeah, you watched The Wailing, which is a fucking good movie, but
tough.
we'll talk about that later. It was tough because yo
I
ass
can't
don't like to
read.
read, but it's all right.
And it's a 3-hour read.
Oh yeah, that is a long movie though. That is a long. But you gotta admit though, the main character was funny as shit. Like the cop was funny.
It
then
was
look at your
until
cat
he
in the
did
background.
something with something, and then I was off
Your
his.
cat's photobombing you. He's video bombing you.
Who?
Anyway,
Is he?
your cat is behind you on top of the shelf.
It's not my cat.
Imagine.
Yeah.
His name is Church.
It's not really here. This is Brad Pitt's Fight Club.
All right. Anyway, so I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna go with Back to the Future Part 2. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Part 2. Don't ask me when I was a kid. When I was a kid, Part 2 used to always hit. Don't ask me why. I love Part 1, but Part 2 used to just hit different. I don't know. Maybe it was because they went to the future. Maybe it's because he had a hoverboard or something. But I don't know. Part 2 always hit different. Like I love Nikes. Part 2. Exactly. Oh yeah, you can't even get the laced up Nikes.
The laced up Nikes.
The self-tying Nikes with the lights at the bottom.
Yes.
And like it's just Back to the Future 2 just hit different. Like it's just I don't know. Like everything about it was cool. I don't know if it was the flying cars, it was the Jaws 4D thing, or I don't know what it was. But it was just something about Back to the Future 2 that used to hit different. And the fact that it came out like just a couple years after the original came out, and they were able to make a freaking sequel that was just as good, if not more enjoyable than the original. Like, oh my God, man. Like it's just I don't know. That is probably one of the toughest trilogies like out there, like in my opinion. But yeah.
I just want to say that is amazing, right? And I will still say that to this day, it's one of the best sequels. Not because it's a fun movie in general, but the way it was put together. Yeah. All right. We spoke about this recently about when he's playing the guitar in the first one. If you watch the first one, and you know, like bits like when he's playing the guitar in the first one, in the second one, he's above his head climbing across the stage. He would remember they were trying to drop some
on the catwalk,
and you can see him playing the guitar. And you can see
he's looking down and he's playing the guitar. But if you watch the first one, you think he's above that. And you remember when he was talking, his mum was drinking in the car and she was trying to kiss him or something. Yeah.
Yep.
And he was down below in the second one. He's below the car trying to sneak past without getting seen. And if you watch the first one, you're like, he's outside. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like, and it was so tightly put together. The story was great. Apart from what I just said about, you know, all the time, it was just a great fun all round movie. It was just great. The hoverboard back when that came out, motherfucker.
Because we thought we was going to have that in the future. Like we thought.
We passed that now. It's 2015 and it or something. Yeah. That was. You know what? That's a great pick. It's not as I suppose it's a diverse kind of a thing because it's number 2. But
it's number 2. Everybody would pick number 1.
I thought you was going to give me some kind of shit that nobody heard of, like, but I can't even.
Actually, maybe I got something.
That's coming next.
That's gonna match you.
Okay. So we're going to jump onto Mr. Justin. What have you got for number 3? Come on.
All right. Now, I'm hoping that y'all like this movie, but honestly, I think this is like one.
It doesn't matter. It's your favorite. Don't give a shit with anyone.
I know, but I'm saying is this. It was like one of my favorite enjoyable movies. Now, I like the movie Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox.
Oh yeah.
That was a good 80s movie because, you know, this is the whole vibe, and then plus, you know, you have like Styles and everything. You had that party, and then you know he's trying to, you know, he goes in there to that
give me a beer or something,
and then he starts to transform and all that stuff, and then he goes back home. He talks to his dad.
Wait, hold on. Wasn't there a scene on that film when he goes into the liquor store
Yeah,
and they won't serve him. And didn't he go real close and his voice all changed?
yeah, his eye, his eyes was red.
Yeah.
Sorry, did his eyes turn red?
Yeah.
And you liked it, well? Now we're going diverse with you. Yeah, you're thinking out of the box now, isn't it? His eyes went red. Give me a case of beer or some shit like that, and his eyes turned red.
Yeah.
I think you did that on purpose just to show us that you're not against red eyes. You know, right? Yeah, no, yes, that was a classic. That is they're remaking it, isn't it?
And plus, him just, playing basketball out there, bro, giving everybody that work. Once he turns into the wolf, and then he gets. I think he takes this one particular scene. I think more like is real good. Is that the guy that played for this red team? I don't know what it's called, but he was a bully. And then when
villain,
he said something about. He said, "You don't scare me, freak." He said, I shot your mom between the eyes trying to catch my chickens last night. And then you can hear him growling and all stuff. And he takes that bowling ball and he tosses it, bro.
Yeah.
That was tight. You could tell he was about to get aggressive. Like he about to kill him or something, bro.
So, yeah, it was a good film.
That
was a good one.
I was a little bit of trivia about that film is that film came out just after Back to the Future, but it was made 2 years before it. The reason why they held it back is because it was a low budget and they weren't expecting it to do really well, but they thought on the back of, and they were hoping Back to the Future with Steven Spielberg, all that, and Robertson, they thought that was going to be big. And it wasn't huge, but it made a dent, and Back to the Future helped it. But that was 2 years. And if you watch it recently, he does look a lot younger than he did on Back to the Future. But anyway, Mr. Durrell, what have we got at number 2? Is it 3? I'm lost now with you.
I'm going to change it up. My number 3 is All Dogs Go to Heaven.
I haven't even seen it. Is it a cartoon?
Oh yeah, bro,
Yes.
Classic.
that was one of my
Classic.
favorite movies growing up, bro. Yes,
Sounds like something that's gonna make me cry.
Yeah, it's classic.
classic.
I can't be watching that.
Best movie. It's one of the top 5 best cartoon movies I've ever seen.
Absolutely, yeah.
Classic.
It's a
All
musical
Dogs Go
too,
to Heaven.
bro. It's a musical too.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
It does have
I
music
mean,
in it,
it will make you cry. Just the lining and the quotes in it and everything in it is
Now,
the
real.
Yes,
Ain't the first one? Does it have like the boy or the girl?
the girl.
The girl. Okay. The second one's with the boy.
Yes,
Yeah. All right. I got you. Yeah. Okay.
because she was I think her name was Charlie. Yeah, it was Charlie. Was about to go to heaven, and she said, "Am I going to see you again?" And he's like, "No, but I will see you." It was like, it's so sad. It was the saddest movie.
Hey man, don't do that to me right now.
I know. All Dogs Go to Heaven is
That's
like, you need to see it.
I remember that movie.
It's the best,
feel
one of the best
like I
cartoon
don't know
movies
what
I've
to
ever
say.
seen. And they made a sequel. And
Yeah.
All Dogs Go to Heaven too.
I'm gonna check it out. I know of it. I've just never seen it. You know,
Yeah.
Check it out.
check it out.
That movie was hard for me to watch, and then also freaking The Fox and the Hound. Those movies.
Oh,
were hard
Fox
for
and
me
the
to
Hound,
watch.
yes.
Stop with that.
And
That
what,
was, I'm gonna cry thinking about it. Fox
Thinking
and the
about
Hound.
that, baby, I'm glad you said that. My wife does not like Fox and the Hound. She said that movie did not interest her at all. I'm like, what? Well, I said it's a dog and a fox.
Is the wedding off?
That movie used to hurt
it.
my feelings like
I'm like-
20 minutes in. I barely could make it through the whole movie.
I told her, I said, babe, that movie had emotion in there. She said, I didn't like it. I'm like,
What about dinosaurs?
Jessica will be like, so what? Our
Um,
kids is gonna like it.
I don't think they're gonna get married now over that, are you?
I
He's
mean,
already not gonna get married. I wouldn't marry her.
It's like that's a deal breaker.
That's a deal breaker.
yeah. But yeah,
Out
Davey,
the door,
Derek,
that's
you need to catch All Dogs Go to Heaven.
I'm
It's
gonna
great.
no. I'm gonna look
It's a
up.
great
I'm gonna
movie.
look up some of these things that after we talk about this. And anyone who's watching this, if you haven't seen what they're talking about, you should check it out too, because these
Yeah.
guys know what they're talking about. Apart from
Yes.
down here, look,
All
they don't.
Dogs Go to Heaven is amazing.
But yeah, that sounds good, man. I'm gonna check it out.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I've heard of it, and I know it stood the test of time. So obviously, it's been around. People like it. I will check it out 100%. I promise. Now, my number 3 again. It's not going to be something. Oh, what? It's going to be the prequel to what Davey just said, Back to the Future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, look, if I don't know if you could make Back to the Future today, not a remake and all that, because in some ways you could pull it apart. You could say that wouldn't make sense, that wouldn't happen. You know about like little things they done in the film about the Twin Pines, the Two Pines, and all that. Do you remember the Two Pines Mall he goes to at the start to see Doc, where it's all where he flies off? It's called the Two Pine Mall. And then when he first, this little things they done. When he first goes, when he runs away and he goes back in time, he runs into a little tree. You know, that was one of the Two Pines. And when he goes back later on at the end of the film, it's called like One Pine Mall or something. You know, as I said, like little things. This film to me was fun, bright, adventurous, great music.
Right.
Michael J. Fox, like, I mean, wasn't it supposed to be Eric Stoltz? He did the first half of the movie. You know Eric Stoltz?
No.
All right, you seen Pulp Fiction?
Yes.
Do you remember the drug dealer with the ginger hair?
Yep. The red hair. Yeah.
He got the part of Marty McFly and filmed, I think, something like 40% of the movie. There was actually archives of 40% of the movie of him doing it, but they wanted Michael J. Fox.
He couldn't play Michael J. Fox.
Well, they said he's supposed to be a really good actor, and they were saying the problem is he was doing it too serious. But the problem, the other thing is, they really wanted Michael J. Fox, who couldn't do it because he was doing Family Ties. But then he became available, and they said Eric Stoltz. And there was nothing against his acting; they just really wanted Michael J. Fox. And you see what he done. He was great on this, the second one, the third, and Teen Wolf. I mean, Michael J. Fox seems to be a thing going on in here today, you know what I mean, with all Teen Wolf and Part 2. But Part 1 for me is a bit better than Part 2, just a little bit. I love the atmosphere of the film and the feel good vibe it brings. Even like the characters are great, like Biff. I mean, if you think about a bully of all bullies, all right, and apart from Johnny Murray from Karate Kid, Biff is the ultimate bully. I mean, he looks like one. He acts like one. It's just great casting. And make like a tree and leave. Do you know what I mean? Or get that? No, make like a tree and get out of here. No, it's leave. But he's great. I think this is an amazing film. It's still a fan favorite. And if you go back and watch it today, it's literally flawless. It's like a perfect movie. It's nearly a perfect movie. There's all the practical, everything is great. It's just fun, and that's why it's number. I know I really want to pick like a more of a diverse type, but I can't help it. This is what's my number 3, and this is something that I can repeat. These films I can repeatedly watch when they're on, and this is why it's my number 3. Speaking of number 2 from the 80s.
All right.
It's something that no one has ever seen. Not even the person who made it has seen it.
Coming in at number 2 is another number 2, or more like number 5. But anyway, so coming in at number 2 is Short Circuit number 2. Right? I love. First of all, Short Circuit was one of my favorite films. You never seen Short Circuit?
Nope.
Any guys seen Short Circuit? Johnny Five is alive with a robot.
Y'all weak. I know all of it. I know it was a big deal in the 80s.
Nah, but dude, yes, that movie was Short Circuit. Was this movie about this company was creating this robot, and then like I think he gets hit by lightning or some shit. Something random happens.
Yeah, I think it does.
And then like he ends up becoming like a sentient being, like which means like he ends up being able to kind of like make decisions for himself, and he's able to kind of like understand the world around him versus like just take orders or whatever, right? And he starts to see himself as being alive and not just some robot. And long story short, that's the first one. The second one is like him kind of like continuing his journey and kind of like, I think he's in like New York or something. Like he's in New York and he's trying to find a way to maneuver around there. And then there's like this company guy that wants to take that robot and like create more of him so he can make money off of him. And like the whole movie is like Johnny Five is like alive, but he's like kind of like mentally he's like childish. Right, he's like easily influenced by people. He could be kind of easily manipulated because he doesn't understand how human behavior is and how people can be bad or whatever. And it's not until the end of the movie where he starts to realize, like, okay, there are bad people in this world, and he kind of starts to figure it out. but not before my man has his little punk rock phase, because since it's an 80s film, he has to rock the mohawk with the little chains and stuff like that and all this little cool shit. But yeah, dude, Short Circuit 2 was my favorite damn movie from the 80s. Like I could watch that shit anytime. And then not to mention during the movie they bump I Need a Hero. I Need a Hero. That song.
Yeah.
And it goes with the scene so perfectly, dude. Like it's hilarious. But shout outs to Johnny Five, shout outs to Short Circuit. And it's funny because the actor that they had in the movie, he's supposed to be like this Indian guy.
I know.
He's supposed to be an Indian guy, but it turns out that he's not really Indian. It just turns out it's
Isn't there
just some dude
Steve
pretending to be
Guttenberg
Indian.
in it at all? Steve Guttenberg.
Probably. I don't know. I'm not good with names, sir.
The guy from Police Academy, curly black hair. No,
Bro, I haven't. Bro, it's been so long since I've seen Police Academy. I just know Police Academy is funny. They're classics, but as far as like people in the movie, the only person I know that's in the movie is my man that makes the sound effects.
Oh yeah.
Him. I think that's the only time I watched it.
Yeah.
But that's my number 2.
Another one I need to check out, and I know the reason why I never checked it out back when I was a kid is that when it comes to robots, we had Terminator and RoboCop and shit like that. I want to see, if I see a robot, I want to see that going on a killing rampage. I didn't want to see Mr. Nice Guy. Now I know it's supposed to be good and classic. I will get to watch it. I will watch it. I'll put it on my list 100%. It is to-do list. Now, Justin, number 2.
Coming in at number 2 is one of my favorite movies. We're going to go with The Karate Kid. Because I love
Good pick.
Ralph Macchio playing Daniel LaRusso, William Zabka playing as Johnny Lawrence. And, you know, he's, of course, like starting out in the movie, you know, just a little brief on the beach. And he runs into Allie. And then after that, talks down. And then Johnny sees it, and Johnny ain't for it. And then after that, they get in a fight. And then next thing you know, it gets real bad. And he tries, you know, he encounters Mr. Miyagi. He wants Mr. Miyagi to teach him, you know, karate. And it's a real good movie. I love the vibes. Plus, one of the favorite songs in the movie is like, "You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna." Yeah, that's my favorite song, because like he's in the tournament and that song's playing. It's real good. And
that is now like classic 1984. The John G. Alderson, I think his name is. He done Rambo and Rocky and shit like that. Yeah. Also, I don't know if anyone knows, but did you know that the Karate Kid is a DC Comics character? Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's a DC. He was in the Justice League at one point. Yeah, I mean, they really changed how he is. Also, you know the song you're talking about? You're the best. That song was originally meant for Rocky 3, but Stallone changed his mind. But that film, you remember? Have you seen Rocky 3: The Eye of the Tiger?
It sounds like it could be put in the Rocky film.
I think there was an interview. Ralph Macchio was talking about that.
The Eye of the Tiger was came up, and he said, "No, I want that instead." But the best around was originally supposed to be, and it's fight till you drop, you never stop. And then you see it's like when everyone's fighting. So it's a great film. You know what? It's a classic. Yeah. What I liked about that film, my opinion is, I have an opinion of. I didn't think Daniel was a very good at karate or kung fu. I still don't actually. I'm watching Cobra Kai, but all right, yeah. Johnny looked like he can kick ass, and he did. He could, and even still today looks like he can do it. But what I liked about the Karate Kid is that I felt like he won through out of luck. Not because he was the best around. I think that they underestimated how, like, they would just thought he was just going to fall over, and he didn't. Yeah. And he shocked them all, especially with that. But I think in general, it wasn't that he was better than them. He was just that he trained hard. He just accidentally kind of got the better of all of them because they way underestimated him. Had they not underestimated him, I think they would have beat him. But with all his heart and soul, and obviously with Mr. Miyagi, the only other trainer in the world you want is Mickey from Rocky, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, or the guy from Kickboxer with Van Damme. But as I said, like that's, you know what? Again, very commercial. We're talking about these, but this is definitely a really good film. Nice one, nice pick. Darrell, number 2.
Number 2. This was going to be my number 1, but number 2 will have to be The Last Dragon.
I knew he was gonna pick that. I knew he was gonna pick that. I knew he was gonna pick that.
You can still pick it. You can still pick that.
I knew he was gonna pick that.
The Last Dragon will have to be my number 2.
That's one of my favorite.
I wanted to be my number 1, but the last, I mean, it is my number one, but I will put it in the book. I found, like you said, I did so much research and like twisting all the movies, like which one's gonna be this, which one's gonna be that. And I mean, if y'all don't know my number one, then we ain't cool. So the number two has to be The Last Dragon. Has to be. That soundtrack is crazy.
Yes.
And the villain in it is one of my favorites.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like, I mean,
Hey, Darrell.
If
you got the glow.
Oh yeah. You feel your gut when you got that glow. Hey boy, they go hard. I mean,
Bro,
No, that's
the
the
girl.
80s.
Fresh. I don't care.
What did they were seeing when he started doing all this, and it was all kind of
Hey, he had that Bruce
everything
Lee
like that.
and
The bad guy in
boy.
that was my
Bruce
best.
Lee.
Yeah, I mean,
That was
Shogun. I mean, Show Enough. Who's
I think
the
we
master?
knew you
Come
were
on
going to
now.
say it.
Who's the master?
Have you seen this,
Shogun.
David?
Who's the master? The
Have you
Shogun.
seen this,
What?
David, from the 80s? You seen it? Is he there? Is he listening? He's not. He's zoned out. He's zoned out to you. Have you seen The Last Dragon?
Yeah, it's been a while though. That like movies like that, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker and shit like that. They used to come on like basic television on the weekends all the time. So
Yeah.
it's like you couldn't help but to see them movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
So
No,
like,
it's a classic. It sums everything up about the 80s as well. The shit that you can't do today, and it's great. You can go back and watch it. Right. Well, mine number two is Ghostbusters.
Oh, good one.
All right. So Ghostbusters classic still holds up today. That first shot when the librarian goes shh and then just jumps out on him. No, it's not that. It's the old woman. And then it jumps out on him later on. Scared the shit out of me as a kid. But what I like about Ghostbusters and what makes to me is that these guys really are a bunch of con men. Because look at Venkman. He didn't believe all this shit. He just was thought, let's get the money. You know what I mean? Yeah, they were all smoking and drinking. The way he chased Dana Barrett into that building and started playing the piano and he was like trying to check her out and all that. Can't do shit like that today. You'd be cancelled, right?
Sure
And
would.
it's kind of creepy. He was just a con man, but he just kind of fell into something. They all fell into something that was real. And in the end, they all pulled together and did what was right. Because at first, Vinkman especially was not interested. He was like, let's just get the money, con as many people as we can, you know? And became second one. I still like the second one. It became a bit more childish in a sense where the smoking was eliminated and all the drinking and all the way they were just kind of half-assed and all that. But for me, Ghostbusters, the soundtrack, the direction.
the soundtrack was epic, especially that one scene in the city.
Magic it's called with the it goes I believe in
yeah.
But that special effects were like really good for its day. The terror dogs, some scenes were a bit dodgy, but I still don't care. You know, as a kid, I was like, well, how do we know what terror dogs look like? Maybe they do look like that, you know?
I want one of those packs, boy.
The new version of the terror dogs look really good. But as I said, like this to me was like sums up the 80s in every way, every way possible. It was, I think this wasn't expecting to be as big as it was. And today it's a beloved film. They even just done the sequel to it, or is it a sequel? What would you call it? Or a remake? It's not, it's a sequel, isn't it? The new one.
It's a sequel.
Yeah. And they're all in it again.
Or
and
a continuation, per se.
Continuation.
They killed
like, I love all four of them. They were all great. They all had their own, like one was clever, one was just hyperactive, one was sleazy. And I'll be honest with you, I think one of them, will say Winston, he was like kind of the realist. He was the only one who was really down to earth, who was like normal. The rest of them were all just fucking crazy. So they had a great, and you know what I think is one of the greatest thing about it, maybe one of the best part about it all, is the chemistry between them all. That's what holds it together. Yeah, I mean, if there was any other actors, I think Chevy Chase was supposed to be in it. Oh no, it was what's his name? James Belushi, who was on what was that film they did, Blues Brothers?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Good movie.
He died of a drug overdose in real life, and obviously the drinking. And a lot of people might not know this, but he drank a lot, excessively ate. He took a loads of cocaine. He actually had an overdose, got out of the hospital, and took more and had an overdose.
He's in the 80s.
Dan Aykroyd said he was just too much. And he was originally supposed to be him, Eddie Murphy, because Eddie Murphy just done Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd. It was supposed to be him and Eddie Murphy, James Belushi, and Dan, and just them three. And it all changed when he died. But get this, James Belushi was still on the film, but nobody knows it. He was Slimer. They actually said if Dan Aykroyd said if he died, if it really died, if his ghost came back, all he would do is drink, eat, and do all that shit. And what do you see?
And that's what Slimer did.
And he's this tubby little fella going around eating everything crazy. So yeah, for me, Ghostbusters. I don't want to go on too much about it because everyone knows, everyone who loves it, most people do. But that's my number 2. Davey from the 80s. Tell us a film that nobody's seen.
Nah, it's not gonna be a film that it's actually gonna be something that everybody saw. Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. That's my number 1.
Private Pile.
Yeah,
Private
that's
Joke.
just funny, right? Do you suck dick? No, sir. Bullshit. Bet you can suck a golf ball through garden holes.
And then even give him
That
courtesy
shit
to give him a
is-
reach around. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit is funny,
I know.
bro. Like just watching that movie and like that movie does a really good job at building like not tension but like anxiety. Like when you're watching them take place in like the trainings and things like that, and it's like just watching them getting yelled at by their fucking sergeant. It's like, oh my god, like it's so freaking intense. And isn't their sergeant like really a Marine, right? Dude's really like used to
Yeah,
be
he's
in
been on
a
a few things like over the years, but yeah, I think he had some
no,
kind
but
of
he has an actual military background though, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it started off with him just like supposedly training somebody, and then like they were just like, "Fuck it, let's just hire this guy instead of like fucking
Well,
paying somebody to train him."
He's quite intimidating. He's not a big man. He's not big
Yeah.
at all. He's just really
Yeah.
intimidating, like
It's
he
his voice and his eyebrows.
Yeah, man.
It's his voice and eyebrows, man, can intimidate the hell out of you.
That's a
But
great film. But
yeah, but watching the transition from training and then into the Vietnam War, and it's just like Stanley Kubrick does a really good job. He's really good at filming, bro. Like getting those cinematic shots, picking the right dialogue, and like just like I said, that anxiety of training camp. Like sitting there, like watching that movie, I was like, I would, even though I never wanted to be in the military, watching that movie, I was like, I sure as hell not going to the military. I can't have no fucking old ass dude with some fucked up Super Saiyan eyebrows yelling in my fucking face. Hell nah, I can't do it. But yeah, so and it's just like you just have to take it, like you can't say shit back. You just gotta take it.
Long time.
And then the way that they were treating like Gomer Pyle and shit, like it's crazy to think how every like actions, even though you feel like it's okay because everybody's doing it, can have a psychological effect on somebody else. You don't know how far it's going to push somebody. You don't know how it affects that person, and you learn by the end of the movie with what Senor Pyle does. But yeah, that's my number 1. I think it's 87. Great movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a really good movie, and I feel like my problem with the film was I found the second half took a bit of a dive because the first half was so good and so intense.
When they go to Vietnam?
Yeah, I felt like it's still good. Don't get me wrong. I felt like it.
It feels like it becomes a whole nother movie, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't
feels
as
like it's a whole nother movie.
intense. The only bit I like is that girl. I love you long time. I was like, oh yeah, do you know what I mean? But as I say, like, it's still a great movie and it's a classic. And yeah, if that's what war is like, then it's terrifying.
You two seen Full Metal Jacket, right?
I have not.
D&J?
I have not
You
seen.
haven't?
I have not seen
Oh, really?
You need to check it out.
We got them for one. We got them with one.
Nah, I have not seen that movie.
All right, then, Mr. Justin, what we got for number 2?
Number 2 or number 1?
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Number 1.
Okay. Coming in number 1, this one was kind of hard. I wrestled with this one. I was like kind of tired with this. But number 1, I'm gonna go with the Goonies. The Goonies was my
that
Good
name
one.
is in my number 2.
Never seen it.
yeah. You've
not
never
seen
seen the Goonies? Oh gosh, the Goonies is one of my favorite movies. It's just all those kids, going through that, the mines and everything, find the mystery. One eye Willie, and all stuff, and find the gold and everything. And then
One-eyed what? Sorry,
That name sounds fucking hilarious.
One-eyed Willie.
One eye Willie.
Yeah, it's called that for a reason.
One Eye Willie.
That is a.
You really want me to watch a movie with a character by the name of One Eye Willie? All right.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
It's a good movie.
It's
a
a
good
really good
Featuring
movie.
One Eye Willie is a good movie.
Directed by Richard Donner, who also made Superman and Lethal Weapon and all that. We had Cyndi Lauper doing the soundtrack. Wasn't it Cyndi Lauper? We got the Truffle Shuffle. Remember the Truffle Shuffle? Yeah. The boy who played Chunk, isn't he supposed to be like some kind of master lawyer over where you are? He's supposed to be like top notch lawyer, and he wrote in a load of books and stuff like that. He's supposed to be like, yeah, I can't remember but yeah. So, and also who do you know from the Goonies, who is the number one biggest star from that to this day, and would be considered an A-list star? Do you remember?
The little fucked up mutant looking dude.
Yeah, because he had the Superman shirt on.
No. He was American football player, wasn't he? And he was big. He was very famous over in he was famous football player, but he died of a heart attack not long after the film. You know, as I say, no, Josh Brolin. Thanos. He's the brother, the older brother on the little bike. Yeah, he's still rocking it today, bigger than ever. But as I said, like, that's a great film. It nearly was in my list, and it nearly even thought about putting an honorable mention. But
you know what's crazy? Like, the reason I wrestled with that one, I picked that one, but I was gonna go with Golden Child. But you know, I was like the good.
I have the knife. Please. Yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass. But that's I love that movie. That actually, funny thing is, speaking about Big Trouble in Little China, they were in some kind of a competition at the time because they both came out and they both had similar things, you know, and they even had similar actors in it. But that's another story. Great choice. Goonies is a classic, feel good.
Classic.
Even Spielberg producing. You have Richard Donner directing. You have the boy from Lord of the Rings. Was it Mikey? Isn't it? He plays Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings. Great movie. Love it. Darrell, number one. What have you got?
Okay, this is more than just one. My number one is Freddy. 1, 2, 3.
The whole trilogy.
The whole trilogy. Whole trilogy.
One. So you like the second one as well?
The second one was okay, but I mean, still gonna watch it because it's Freddy.
The second
Freddy
one ain't that good, bro.
The
second one is lackluster as hell.
But
I actually like the second one.
1,
I don't.
2,
it
3,
was crazy.
4, 5. I mean, 5 was 5 and 2 was but 1, 3, the dream.
Like, which one would like watch over and over and over again at all of them?
I could watch number one, but again, that's like that's one of those
movies
that's coming around in October.
Halloween.
I seen Heather. I seen Heather at a midnight screening, like a midnight showing of
that's Nancy.
Part 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So look, so she pulled up for a Q&A, right? And I didn't know if she was gonna be like approachable. Like I didn't know like they were gonna let you actually walk up to her. And like we walk in and we sit down and we look, and then there's like this fucking line forming, and I'm like, are they meeting her? And then we look, and the line fucking grows like 3 times longer, and I'm like, well, there goes my chance. but yeah, she was there though. She was really cool though. She went to Monsterpalooza last year, but I think she went on a Friday, and we didn't go on Friday. Yeah, this year. Yeah, this year. Sorry, she went to Monsterpalooza this year, but she went on a Friday, and we didn't go on Friday because like trying to go from LA to Pasadena like after work, like and all that rush hour is like ridiculous. Like we're not even gonna do that.
Definitely in LA. Yeah, Freddy. It's
Freddy.
Every last one of them.
Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1 could be my favorite horror movie of all time. Could be
easily.
Yeah. I love Part 3. I do. The Dream Warriors. That's
the Dream Warriors.
Just an extension of how good
with the Dokken song that goes with it.
Oh yeah, Dream Warriors. Yeah.
Dream Warriors.
Never sleep no more. That's great choice for number one. I mean, like you can't go wrong. Great choice. Thank you. Now, before I give you my number one, I want to say thank you for you guys coming in and joining us for this long. I know you guys are all busy, and especially you two down there. I know you know what's coming, right? Yeah, and I just want to say that we have accomplished something. We found out something on this. Justin has got over his fear of red eyes, so we know that's sorted now. So we've accomplished.
Can he watch the movie Red Eye?
We fixed that. Yeah, he ain't seen Red Eye, but don't push him. You know, what I mean?
Stop picking on me. I'm tired of this.
No, but seriously though, thank you for coming. It was great. Now, my number one And it may not even be the best of all of them, but there's a reason I have number one, and it is The Never-Ending Story. Now,
God,
I knew you were gonna pick this. I knew you were gonna
Yo,
pick this.
yo,
the
how did
never-ending
I forget
story.
that?
turn.
Gracious.
That was a good.
All
Oh
right,
my.
look,
Wait a minute.
this
Which
film.
one? One more second. This the first one, right? Because there's
Yes.
3 of them.
Yeah. Forget that the rest don't exist as far as I'm concerned.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's like,
The first
All right.
one is
So
the
the Never-Ending
best one.
Story. I don't need to explain about it. It's about a boy reading a book, going to a fantasy world, and But
Love that movie.
I can't watch that movie today. Now, as I said, I was brought up with my grandparents who ain't with us no more, right? And I traumatized and tormented my grandmother and grandfather with this movie. Play, rewind, play, rewind, play. Literally, it was just non-stop. But I remember one day I was in the kitchen with my nan when she was making dinner or something, and she was humming the tune because I played it humming the tune, and I looked and I goes, "You playing that?" She went, "Oh," and I thought my work here is done. Yeah.
you done got
And I can't watch that film today, even though it's all good memories. It's just it brings back memories that are kind of sad for me, because I was with them all the time and I loved them so much, and it was so great. So watching it today, it just puts too much of a lump in my throat because even the song word for word, it just brings me back to a time that I find it's still a bit sore for me. Even though it's not a negative thing, it's a good. But for me, that's the reason why it's number one. It's something I have to lock away and put inside here, and
That's
I
a
can't
good
watch it. But to me, that's why it's number one. Maybe the others are better, but in general, it's still a fun movie. It's a kids movie, but you've got great practical effects. You've got the Falcor. You've got
Falcor, I love
quite
Falcor,
scary.
too.
You remember the
Falcor.
Mork, the
Falcor.
dog that was chasing him and shit. Yeah, that was all scary shit. The young boy Atreyu on the horse. To this day, everyone still goes on about that horse dying in the swamp of sadness. Yeah. To this day,
Yeah,
people
that
saying
was
it just
emotional.
ruined their childhood. Yeah,
shit's
it was
traumatizing.
sad. Yeah, it's good. We had the big snail, Amora, the big snail. Was it snail? It wasn't snail. It was a tortoise. Who not that it matters. All that shit. This was a great movie, and if any film needs a remake, it's this. Now you're probably going. The reason why is
God, it'll be way too much CGI. They would have
right.
to.
No,
They would have. They would
listen.
have to
Let me
commit
out.
to.
All right, it's not that. The book that was written the writer didn't want his name on the film that was made because Wolfgang Peterson actually died only a couple of days ago, the director, but he didn't want his name on this film because he said it's nothing to do with the book because the book is very dark. It turns all Lord of the Rings like. All right, so I don't know if you guys know much about the film, but you remember Bastian who's reading the book?
Yes.
yeah.
Do you remember at the end where she said to him there was only one grain of sand left? And the only way to bring back Fantasia was to wish. And every time you wish, a part of it grows back and it'll be back. What she didn't mention, which is on the book, is every time you wish, you lose a memory. You lose a memory until he loses all his memories and he's stuck in Fantasia and he's confused. He grows up to be a man, builds an army to take down the Empress and kill her. Yeah. So that's what happens on the book. The whole book is to kill the Empress. It's supposed to be dark. And I would like to have seen that version of it too. And I think you could do a remake. But forget remakes and all that. This was my number one. I love the movie.
I think if they did that, they would have to do the They would have to go like the dark. What is it called? That Jim Henson's the dark.
Dark Crystal. Yeah.
Like how they had like the little animatronics and shit.
Yeah.
But look, hold on. Before we wrap this up, I think we should give this movie an honorable mention. Just give me 1 second.
Here we go.
Davey from the 80s.
Davey from the 80s. Davey ain't seen shit in the 80s from the 80s. Yeah. Seriously, have you seen this? Nope, ain't seen that. Nope. He ain't seen Aliens. He watched the first Alien on the third reel with me there recently for the first time.
RoboCop.
Oh yeah.
RoboCop.
Which one?
You couldn't have just said it.
Two?
It took him 10 minutes to go and get that. He couldn't have just said it.
Nah, because I do shit with style, unlike you.
I like RoboCop. Okay.
Oh,
Dave,
tasteless
ass. Which
But
one
anyway,
do you
look.
like better, RoboCop 1 or RoboCop 2?
1.
Easily RoboCop 1, bro. RoboCop 2 is
so?
cool and everything.
By a merry mile.
Yeah,
I like
RoboCop 1.
RoboCop
RoboCop
2.
1 shits on the sequels, bro.
Two is
Oh yeah,
not
he
what?
does. It's just I just
Yeah,
thought
bro.
RoboCop 2 was pretty
RoboCop
good.
2 and 3 are just
Oh.
like
RoboCop-
guilty pleasure, like
RoboCop-
like you just like the character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Robocop
mean,
One
Yeah,
is
it
the
was
actual
good.
fucking movie.
Two, listen, two, Darrell, that kid was getting annoying. He was over there trying to
He was
Oh,
getting
yeah,
annoying,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't
still,
like
I
that
just
kid,
like
bro. He get him
Oh,
out,
yeah,
I like
yeah.
both of them.
get him out of there, bro. Like,
Yeah,
No,
I
I
like
know.
RoboCop,
Part
yeah.
one is definitely 100% better.
Yeah.
It's probably in my top 10, top 20 list. Robocop, Freeze. But anyway, look, we've come to the end after an hour of talking. It's actually went on for a bit longer than I thought. Sorry for taking so long, but excuse me. I just want to say thanks again for coming, and for you who are watching, go and check out Cinema Chop Shop. Davey from the A's. I'm going to point at him. I'm going to put a link down. He does movies, news, and reviews. Like I said, great channel. And we got these two here. I'm going to try and do it this way. Let him and him over there. Justin and Darrell, they're great guys. They have their own channel. Just D&J Movie Reviews. I'm going to put the link below. Check it out. Their videos aren't as long as this. Mine videos aren't normally this long, but you know what? It is what it is.
You knew it was gonna be long. It's funny that you were like, "Oh, it's gonna be like 30 minutes." I'm like,
I
"This is not
didn't
gonna
feel
be
my
30
god.
minutes."
I
That's
was
what
like,
he
you know
did
what?
say.
It's all you lot take too long to talk. That's what it is. Yeah.
No.
Anyway,
you
look.
did most of the damn talking.
Yes, because
You
I
over there.
you
No,
lot were
yes,
taking
yes,
too
the
long.
director, and then the actors, and then this, and then
I
that,
have
and
to
then
do these things because
you
you
know,
lot
and
don't
then
know shit. Yeah.
you
I
lot,
do all the trivia.
the queen of England, and all that was what. That's what you did, sir.
You got a little pretty mouth.
y'all two, I
Get
swear,
them
man.
riches off.
You said what?
Get them riches off.
Ugh. You watched
Anyway,
too much
my number
Deliverance.
one film is Deliverance. You guys ain't seen Deliverance, no?
Deliverance.
Squeal. Wah!
No. All right, you got to make that to your watch list.
You've never
Anyway,
seen
look.
Deliverance?
I'm not.
I'm going to switch this off now because you lot are starting insulting the Queen, and you know I'll have MI6 down here in a minute. But anyway, look. Anyway, look, like and subscribe the video, and we might do a 90. If you lot can get through this and you like it, well, we might do a 90s, top 5 90s movie. What soon?
Okay.
We might have Tate and Crumpets next time. Cheerio and what?
We're gonna have peanut butter and jelly donuts. Is it peanut butter and
What the
jelly
fuck?
donut?
What?
Yo, it's peanut butter and jelly donuts.
Talking about, bro?
We don't have shit like that over here. Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter
We
and
don't
jelly
have-
donuts?
Yeah.
What the
We
fuck?
don't
We ain't never had those.
Okay, we
Well, no peanut butter and jelly.
have proper food over here.
What the hell?
Yeah. But anyway, look, stop insulting me. It's not fair, right?
No,
It's not
you're
nice. It's
fair.
on the channel, right?
Not nice.
Look, see you a lot later. Yeah.
All right, y'all
Oh
good.
yeah.
Subscribe.
Cinema Chop Shop.